Tonight on the Black Channel. Try that in a black town. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel, and I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, folks, before I get started with anything else, before I get started in saying anything else, my apologies to you before we begin. We are going to be going into an excursion into Mayo country music, so you have been warned well in advance. That's the first thing. Number two, something I've been saying for years and years, for over a decade now. People, I told you years ago before anybody else said it, I forecasted, and it's come to pass. I told you the white supremacists were going to come with their hands out. As their power wanes and the numbers diminish, you're going to have to resort back to the old methods of barbarism and domestic terrorism. You must do this because you're losing the ability. You don't have the overwhelming numbers that you used to have before, and you have a more motivated population against white supremacy now. And I've told you all since the very beginning that they were going to become more vocal. They were going to become more active. They were going to become more agitating. They were going to become more aggressive. And I have always welcomed that increase in aggression because without it, black people will go back to sleep. Black folk will just turn back on their cell phones, lace back up their shoes, turn back on cable TV, and start trying to ignore it all over again. So I have said for over a decade that unfortunately it's become a truism that unless there is just this steady, persistent drumbeat of white supremacist antagonistic tactics, the black folk will just get off the field and go back to sleep again. Therefore, what we are witnessing here now, a new alt-right anthem, and to this I can only say that this is good. This is good. This is what we need. We need them to show you that it is a never-ending, relentless assault. It's always got to be there. It's got to be front and center. You can't get around it. You see, they told all of us that we were the reactionaries. Remember, y'all with all that pro-black stuff. Remember that? Y'all with all that pro-black stuff. That pro-black stuff. Now, everybody is out here trying to channel us and talk like us because that's the only defense that you have against white supremacy. Period. Now, for those of you who may not be aware, there's a country music singer. I use that word advisedly, singer, named Jason Aldean. Damn near passed out from a heat stroke on stage in Connecticut a few days ago. But apparently not before cranking out a new tune on his guitar called Try That in a Small Town. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to show you the visuals here. I'm just going to show you the visuals of it just when the song gets started. So you can already see here, bunch of good old boys. Apparently this is supposed to be some mock, I don't know, Antifa thing, I suppose. Live from Fox. So you saw that. Live now from Fox. State of emergency declared in Georgia without giving the context of why a state of emergency had to be declared. A state of emergency had to be declared because you did not declare a state of emergency for your never-ending assaults on black people. By the way, Jason Aldean didn't crank out a song for George Floyd. Didn't have a word to say about that, but then again, a white supremacist, suspected white supremacist. I wouldn't expect anything different. By the way, very interesting building that he's standing in front of there. Very interesting building. You know what? We're going to have some copyright strikes here tonight, but that's perfectly fine. Very interesting building that they decided to do this video in front of. There's actually a history to the building that they chose. Want to guess if it's a specifically anti-black history?
Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like, cuss out.
Okay, first of all, let me back this up one time here.
Carjacking old lady at a red light. Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like.
Okay. I'm not sure that all these parts here are rhyming like they should, but okay, you can see the perspective this is coming at it from.
Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Spit in his face.
I'm almost certain something wrong here.
Stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough? Well, try that in a small town.
Okay, one brief musical aside. Usually, music is supposed to have a pentameter. Look it up. It's supposed to have a cadence. You might still need to look it up. It's supposed to have a rhythm to it that dictates where the rhyming words are supposed to fall. This dude is sitting up here, dyslexically freestyling. He's throwing the words anywhere and everywhere. This isn't really a traditional song. This is blank verse. For those of you who don't know, blank verse is when music doesn't rhyme. So I think he was attempting to rhyme, and he's just like, hey, just when the spirit moves him, when the spirit hits him, that's when he decides to put in a word that may or may not rhyme with something he has or has not said previously in here. So I'm just like, wow, okay, so he basically just sat down to write a speech for Fox News and just put it to music and said, you know what? This is too important for rhyming. This is far too important to rhyme, far too important for rhythm. Certainly doesn't need cadence to it here, so trust me, the folks we deal with don't rely on rhythm and cadence anyway. They won't be offended. The black folks show up. Where the hell's the rhythm? Y'all can't even blame this like your grandfathers back during World War II. We've been singing to y'all now for 50 damn years. Where's the rhythm? Damn rhythms. Oh, okay, he really don't like black folk. Damn the rhythm, damn the cadence, just damn everything.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Sir, did they have an editor for this song at all? Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Bruh. You couldn't have reworked that? He's just like, man, look here. I'm flowing right now. Let me do my thing. I'm rolling. Can't you tell?
See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town.
Yeah, just rhythm, lyrics, just do what you like. Just do what you like. Anything you want to do. You just go ahead and do that. Do what you like. Just anything. We just making this up as we go along. Now, this is the part I wanted you all to see. Once you get about 2 minutes into this, take a look at the imagery. I'm not even going to play the lyrics anymore. Thank goodness I've spared you all that. But take a look at the imagery that they use. Starting here. You're starting to see what they're showing here now. A lot of police in riot gear raising the flag. Or should I say some white people raising the flag, first of all. A white person raising the flag. God bless America. Okay, some more white people, more white people. Not very subtle. Not very subtle. Couple of white men with guns. Not very subtle. A backyard full of white kids. Not very subtle. Over and over and over. Not very subtle. Not very subtle. Now, is he? We can see exactly the type of small town he's referring to, and please understand that I am a black man who was raised in a mid-sized city, although when I was a kid it was a small town. So, a small southern town. Very interesting. When he refers to a small town, he's letting you see who the residents of his idea of a small town are. These are his idea of the residents of that small town. This is his ideal population. Not very hard to see who they made it for here. Not very hard to see. Now, I bring this up because I want the young people to understand that there is a lesson that we've been attempting to teach you now. For the last 2 decades, I've been attempting to teach you that if you have this idea in your head that all the Klansmen are gone, all the white supremacists are gone, these are just relics of and antiquities from Hollywood movies, Mississippi Burning, and Bull Connor, and Lincoln Rockwell, and David Duke. These are just a bunch of old white dudes, and that once they die out, everything gonna be fine. I've been telling you now for 2 decades, the new generation is here. When I made my documentary Race War, that was one of the things I pointed out, is that, by the way, we'll be dealing with the Richard Spencers and the Chris Cantwells and the Jason Kesslers. Those are young men. We'll be dealing with them for the next 40 years. The next generation has already picked up the banner and is walking with it. You've gone to school, high school, and college with them in 2005, 2015, 2020. This is not going to stop with the World War II or Civil Rights generation. This is not going to stop. I talked about this years and years ago. The next generation is picking this up. You can see what they were studying in music class. We often talk about psychological warfare, but now I want to remind you all of something here. If you're going to talk about psychological warfare, you have to know the 5 steps to Nazi Germany. I've been teaching you that now for a decade and a half, the 5 steps to Nazi Germany. Step number 1, first they murmur and whisper against you in their homes. Next, they murmur and whisper against you in the streets. Then they talk against you in the media. Then the politicians pass laws against you. And then finally, wholesale slaughter in the streets. Indiscriminate, deputized murder in the streets. And that's what it becomes. And I've been saying this because I want you to recognize that we often talk about the fact that white supremacy usually tries to introduce itself as a joke. Because the general population, generally speaking, you can't go in hard like that on them because most people are not really built to go into warfare off of nothing. So you have to introduce it as a joke. Blackface was introduced as a joke. The Ku Klux Klan introduced as a joke. Pepe the Frog introduced as a joke. The OK symbol as a joke. The alt-right as a joke. That's what they told you. Oh, we're just having some fun. Lighten up. And you're told it's introduced to you as a joke. Editorial cartoons, when you have racist editorial cartoons, it's being introduced to you as a joke. Well, if you remember, in Nazi Germany, and remember, Nazi Germany learned all of its racist tactics from America. Miscegenation laws from America. Segregation laws from America specifically. The Nazi hierarchy specifically looked at America and said, hey, there's a whole nation, a whole continent that is practicing this type of racist, white supremacist based segregation. America, it's not far-fetched. America does it every day. Why can't we do it in little old Germany? Check your history. That's exactly what it was, by the way. Nazi Germany learned from America. America did not learn from Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany learned from America. The so-called new kid on the block. They learned a lot from America. They learned how you could use editorial cartoons to introduce white supremacy as a joke. Over there, they made editorial cartoons about blacks, but then about Jews. And that was when you started recognizing they learned things. But there was something else that Nazi Germany learned also. Because you see, this little new country of America, by the turn of the 20th century, this place was quickly becoming the world's media hub with recorded media, starting with music and then with movies. Why, this little place called America was becoming the world's media hub very, very quickly. Black people created the music of America. And once the music could be recorded, it takes off from there. Of course, they disenfranchised us from that as well, because that's what segregation does for you. So all of a sudden, they learned that white supremacy could be very well effectively communicated and transported through media. So if you really want an effective tool to disseminate white supremacy, then you got to know how to use your media for that. So first and foremost, next comes your music and your movies. If you all remember, Joseph Goebbels was the minister of propaganda for the Nazis, who made the famous films showing Adolf Hitler as a hero, the Hitler Youth. That was Joseph Goebbels. Where did Joseph Goebbels learn that? Why, he looked at American movies. He studied Hollywood. Joseph Goebbels took a look at American movies, American filmmaking techniques. And he said, you know what? I can use that. If I use this, I can take Adolf and I can put him in that. This will work. He studied American drama. He said, this will work. He studied American camera angles. That's why you got camera angles looking up at Hitler. When you see the videos he make looking up at him, the very famous footage where Hitler is driving by in the car and it looks like he's floating down the street because the car is so low, that was deliberately done. Goebbels deliberately set that up to make it look like Hitler is supernatural, like he's floating down the street. He deliberately framed it and cropped it and angled the camera to make sure that was the way the shot was taken. That was how it was composed. It's not simply enough to have an ideology. You have to have imagery that goes along with that. And I submit to you all that a century later, going on a century later, the strategy is still in effect to this day. To this day. And it's very, very important. If you wish to disseminate and distribute white supremacy, it's very, very important that white supremacy have a jingle. White supremacy needs to have a soundtrack. Because you see, black empowerment has had its soundtrack now for decades. even if this is the best the opposition can do. See, we've had a soundtrack of empowerment for decades. I was the one who taught all of you that rap music isn't just thumping. Rap music is the music of resistance. Rap music is the heir of the 1970s. It's not even a stepchild. It is a direct biological heir of the 1970s. The music of resistance. That's how you could so seamlessly go from Gil Scott-Heron to the Furious Five. You can seamlessly go from that because those are the children of them. And then go from them to Public Enemy and NWA and Tupac and on. The music of resistance. We've had our soundtrack of resistance. That's why when we come bumping through their war drums, we've had our music of resistance. We've had our soundtrack of resistance. And it still endures to this day. It still endures to this day. The opposition has witnessed that. They were never able to make theirs as good. Theirs was never as catchy. I mean, let me just tell you right now, this is not a catchy song here, Jason. Sir, just as from one musician to whatever in the hell you are. But from one musician to bumpkin music here, sir, then yeah, this is not a paragon. This ain't gonna make it into the Library of Congress here. This is not a paragon of musical art form, sir. The problem is your stuff struggles. Let me give you a little bit of help here, Mr. Aldine. Y'all are doing so damn bad at getting at us here. Sir, if you want a song to catch on, it's got to have regular pentameter. It's got to have regular cadence. And the lyrics have got to be hard hitting, and you got to encapsulate all of that together. You got to do all of that together. Otherwise, it don't work. Because it can't work. Jason, what do you mean? Can you give us an example there of exactly what you're talking about there? What do you mean? Maybe we should put it in musical form for him, make things a little bit easier for him here, because I wouldn't want him to get too more confused than he actually is here. Let's talk about one of ours. Let me show you our soundtrack of resistance. From masters of the art form. Now, by the way, these are our revolutionaries. We were not sitting here. You have to understand, we are righteous warriors. You know that we are righteous warriors because we did not weaponize our music to hate other people. We turned our music into tools of resistance. We're the righteous. Anybody can sing this song across the centuries and hold their head up high because this music is not oppressing anyone. It's not attempting to galvanize anybody. It's not saying we're here to divide the society. Yes, it's speaking in black people's interests, but it's not here to divide anyone, to oppress anyone. The lyric structure and the music are in harmony with each other. They're both working together. They're not in conflict with each other. Meanwhile, over here, what in the world? Get my music back on here. He doesn't even seem like he's sure where he's going. His very own song is in conflict with itself. This is what happens when you are fueled not by righteousness but by rage. Your music is in conflict with itself, sir. That's why it won't work. But then again, they have a long history of this kind of thing happening here, which is why I enlightened you about Nazi Germany. Because I wanted you to understand where the genesis of this methodology comes from. So he didn't even wait until he got middle-aged and his career was all the way over. He's like, damn, let me appeal to the Fox News crowd now. Who cares if they buy the songs or not? At least I get some spins on YouTube. But I remind you that when he had his little heat stroke scare here a few days ago on stage, Jason Aldean was up in Connecticut. Not in Alabama, not in Mississippi. He was in Connecticut. However, he's got support out there, folks. He's got support. Why, none other than I'll be damned didn't know he was still alive. Pat Boone. Pat Boone looking like a pair of your grandpappy's wore out socks. Well, Pat Boone apparently found himself away from the milk of magnesia long enough to get to Fox News. And listen to what he had to say over there.
Pat, what is happening to country music?
It's gotten sick. I can't believe it's country music. I'm thinking about Trace Atkins, you know, and of course, many of those songs were, they were very supportive of opposing America's enemies. What we're not taking into account is that many of our enemies are in our own house. And they're in our own countries and our own streets. I live in a small town called Beverly Hills.
Pat Boone has been a milquetoast white man who has been out of touch with reality for so damn long it ain't even funny anymore, and he's gotten older. I wish I could say he's gotten older and dumber, but no, he's just really gotten older. He couldn't possibly get any dumber. Did this jackass just say I live in a small town called Beverly Hills? Did he really just say that? Sir, read the damn room. Take the temperature of the room. Do you think this is really the time to promote your white privilege? Do you think that's really the time? If you all agree with what I'm saying here tonight, hit the likes button and give me the fire emoji in the chat room. We got over 4,000 people in here watching live right now. I must have a bunch of damn Pat Boone and Jason Aldean fans. If you don't like the program, let me go ahead and just wrap this up. But if you agree with what I'm saying here tonight, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. Pat Boone is telling the whole damn world that Beverly Hills is a small town. First of all, sir, white privilege much? Second of all, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So Pat's sitting here, he found his way to Fox News and immediately starts making a buffoon of himself. Pat Buffoon as opposed to Boone. We're missing a syllable in there.
And they're in our own countries and our own streets. I live in a small town called Beverly Hills. And believe it or not, just up the street not long ago, broad daylight, 3 hoodlums broke into a house up the street, and the police had to remove us from our house while they searched because 2 of the criminals they caught, but one got away down the back alley over here, and they thought he might have gotten into our yard. Meanwhile, a neighbor, a tough little Italian lady, named Josephine Rosigno. She had taken some shooting lessons and had a gun sitting in her lap, and I called her.
So you all notice that Pat Boone ain't changed. Now let me go ahead and give you all a little bit of a reminder here, because I want you to understand what I'm talking about. Let me go ahead and give you a little bit of a reminder about the era that Pat Boone comes from. Pat Boone comes from the black and white era. Pat Boone comes from the black and white days. Pat Boone comes from the segregation days. I'm talking about the real segregation days. Segregated radio stations, segregated TV stations, segregated theaters. So Pat Boone got a whole lot of help. White privilege, a whole lot of damn help. But I want to remind you all, years ago, Legendary newsman Peter Jennings did a special about Elvis Presley. I was so glad he did that. If y'all can find it anywhere, it is definitely required watching as far as I'm concerned. You will learn so much. Peter Jennings did a fantastic job. Talked to Elvis Presley's old manager, and they talked about how they got things started. First of all, Elvis Aaron Presley was a platinum blonde, but he wanted to take after one of his movie idols, colored his hair black. But Elvis Aaron Presley was platinum blonde. Him and his image people decided, let's go ahead and get his hair dark. So that's why you have the black-haired Elvis Presley. Jason, even after he died, yes, even after he died, his hairdresser visited him one more time right before the viewing in the casket. She came and visited him one more time and applied the dye to his hair one last time before the viewing and before he got buried. That's how serious they were about maintaining Elvis Aaron Presley's image. It's like a cult. Like a cult. Pat Boone, when he was a much younger man, benefited from that racist society. Jason, why do you call it that? Because remember, Elvis Presley was the Justin Timberlake of his day. He was the white boy who, according to the white folk, never to the black folk, but according to the white folk, he sounded like he was black. You see, the very fact our music style, if you're doing that style of music, they're like, oh, you must be black. You're doing that nigger style. Never mind the fact that the white folks loved it. Never mind the fact that they loved Jerry Lee Lewis, who directly got everything he did from the black honky tonks. Watch the movie Great Ball of Fire. It is an autobiography. We built American music, even during segregation and slavery. We built American music. These folk did not build it. We built it, and that includes country music. Jason Aldean, that includes yours. Well, what you've hijacked now. But see, they've bastardized and raped it so badly now, I'm like, ooh, you can have it. We don't even recognize it anymore. Elvis Presley once famously did an interview at a segregated radio station. He did the interview. He had gotten up, they did the interview, they had gotten up, they had left, and they had gotten a call on one of the things. It was a phone that was in his car. Actually, it was one of the precursors of cell phones. It was basically a radio phone. They told him they need him to come back. They told him that they need him to come back to the radio station right now because the viewers are upset. The listeners are upset. They're upset because you brought this black person to the radio station. Remember, this is radio, not television. So they had him spin that damn Cadillac around, go back to the radio station, and they brought him in. Now, this is the part I want you all to pay attention to. They brought him in, and they asked him a question. They asked him, what high school did you go to? To which Elvis Presley responded, I went to Riverside. It was either Riverside or Riverdale, whichever one it was. I went to Riverside High School. So they basically brought him back so they had already interviewed him. He left the station, and they bring him back so they can ask him a couple more questions. And they asked him, what high school did you go to? Because remember, the high schools were segregated back then. The high schools were segregated. So when they asked him what school you went to, the listeners knew what he was saying. By him saying he went to a white high school, oh, you must be white, because the high schools are segregated. Okay. All right. And Pat Boone just did that with you all right now. Pat Boone just did it again. There are enemies in our own country. Enemies in our own streets. He doesn't define who the, quote, enemies are. He doesn't define them. What he instead does is tell you who the heroes are. Well, Pat Boone, you didn't tell us who the enemies are exactly. Can you remind us again who the heroes are? fighting the enemy.
And they thought he might have gotten into our yard. Meanwhile, a neighbor, a tough little Italian lady, Meanwhile, a neighbor, a tough little Italian lady.
Why was it necessary to say a little Italian lady? Why was that necessary? Why was that necessary? Why was it necessary to say that? He didn't give any other ethnic distinctions of any other people. Why was that necessary, Pat Boone, to say that? Why? Probably because when you're reminding them they're enemies in our streets.
And they're in our own countries and our own streets. I live in a small town. Into account is that many of our enemies are in our own house. And they're in our own countries and our own streets. I live in a small town called Beverly Hills. House up the street, and the police had to remove us while they searched because two alley over here, and they thought he might have gotten into our yard. Meanwhile, a neighbor, a tough little Italian lady named Josephine Rosigno, she had taken some shooting lessons and had a gun sitting in her lap. And I called her to see if she was aware of what was happening. It was right next door here in Beverly Hills, the small town of Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. And she said she was sitting there in the kitchen with her gun in her lap, hoping the guy would come in.
Yeah, that was a real knee slapper, now wasn't it? That was a real knee slapper, now wasn't it, Pat? Let me go ahead and remind you all one more time here since we are having our music lesson. By the way, this is Pat Boone. Pat Boone would like to sing you all a little tune.
Bob, 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 tutti frutti, all fruity, tutti frutti, all fruity, tutti frutti, all fruity, tutti frutti, all fruity, tutti frutti, all fruity. Bob, Bob, loom, Bob, 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 I got a gal.
A wop, baba, baba, loom, bop, a wop, bop, bop.
All fruity, tutti frutti, all fruity. Bob, Bob, loom, Bob, 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 I got.
Wop, baba, loom, bop, a wop, bop, bop. What in the deep, fat, fried mayo balls hell is that? Well, let me show you what it is, straight from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Little Richard.
Little Richard was so hot. If you went into town behind Richard, say Indianapolis, Indiana, you had to wait 2 months if he was there, 3 months, because he would sweep the whole town clean. Everybody went to see Little Richard. He was so excited. But the white...
Yeah, that's a little bit different from what the hell we just heard from Pat Mayo Boone. Yeah, do y'all see why we don't want y'all doing our music now? He didn't even make it through the damn lyrics. It's like, whoa, hold on, bruh. You just ruined the vibe for every damn body. He just broke off into his own song. So I just wanted you all to hear that. By the way, what the hell did Little Richard actually say? And this bastard over here, and he probably got a damn teleprompter. That's the damn shame of it. He's probably got a teleprompter and still messed it up. That was Pat Boone back then.
I got a gal, her name's Sue. She knows just what to do. I got a gal.
Oh, y'all, we need a sister on the screen. We really, really do. Even the bedwind should probably pull this off better. Oh, we need a real woman on there. Come on now, because he's already messing up the masculine vibe. He's messing it up. She needs a real man on the screen, okay? I'm just saying this. Oh, I'm the art director. Everybody got to go. Just bye. We segregating this video shoot. Out of sheer necessity, we ain't gonna sell nothing. I am officially desegregating this video shoot for the sake of art, music, and sanity.
Her name's Sue. She knows just what to do. I got a gal named Sue. She knows just what to do. I've been to the east. I've been to the west. She's the gal that I love best. Tutti frutti, all fruity.
Forget about it. I'm not gonna make it. Oh, that's all I can take of this. Forget it. Little Richard, throw down the reel.
Town clean. Everybody went to see Little Richard. He was so excited.
But the white station wouldn't play black records. It was about 4 or 5 black radio stations in the whole country, and the white station wouldn't play me. But I was hitting big, but the white kids had my record, but I wasn't on the radio, you know, and they would hear it from WLAC, because WLAC went across the whole country. That's the only thing that helped me. And then they took Pat Boone and threw Pat Boone on me.
Oh, wop, bop, loom, bop, 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 tutti frutti.
Because WLAC went across the whole country. That's the only thing that helped me. And then they took Pat Boone and threw Pat Boone on me.
Oh, wop, bop, loom, bop, 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 tutti frutti.
It wasn't something that was done in the beginning when it was rhythm and blues, because it was supposed to be not nice music at all. So you didn't have white artists doing black music. It wasn't acceptable. But when it crossed over to the white audience, and it was a song that did well with blacks and some whites, they said, well, hey, this is a good vehicle. We'll make even more money.
And Pat Boone said, oh, wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. And I still said, oh, wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. And the white kids wanted to hear wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. Woo! They wanted to hear me. And so they were still bringing me in their house. And they didn't want their mama to know I was in the house. So they put Pat Boone on top of the bed and they put me in the drawer.
All these decades later, this is Pat Boone today. Now, I want to go down to the article here and see what they say about him on Fox News. I mean, on, New York Post, which might as well be Fox News. Gospel legend, Pat Boone. Gospel? This is gospel? Gospel legend Pat Boone said the country music genre is becoming sick after a barrage of attempts to cancel Jason Aldean. Now, I was telling you all before that, by the way, when you saw old Jason and his merry band of misfits standing in front of that building, I wanted you to see that for a reason. That particular building they're standing in front of there says for filming the music video for an anti-riot song in front of a Tennessee courthouse where critics say a man was hanged 100 years ago. They didn't say a black man was hanged 100 years ago. Aldean denied the song Try That in a Small Town has any racist intentions or undertones. I just showed you all what the intent and the undertones were. I just showed that to you. I just wanted to show that to you. These folks here, all of them are coming out. They're jumping up here. They are emboldened. They are emboldened, and this is good. This is good. Because we want them to be emboldened. I don't want dishonest white supremacists. I want honest ones. Malcolm X said it, and I echo the sentiment to this day. I prefer my white supremacists honest. I don't need any undercover ones. I prefer them to just go ahead and be above board and put it on the bricks and let it be what it's gonna be. I have no problem with that. There's a bunch of black folks out there who want to get their bed winching on. They prefer a lying white supremacist. And I'm like, no, just let them be what they are. Let them be all the way real about it. Let them be all the way real about it. I'm not one of these people who believes in making them say stuff behind the corners and whatnot. Be all the way real about it and just understand, by the way, you are responsible for the things you say. So do keep in mind that you are responsible for the things that you say and where you say them. So I would admonish you to keep that in mind. But other than that, I prefer my white supremacists honest. Now, I would be remiss if I did not inform you all that there actually was a bit of a counter current to it. YouTube did suggest another song to me here. There's someone who apparently took exception to Jason Aldean's song and decided that they wanted to give a little bit of a tweak to it. Now, granted, this is a bit of an acquired taste to listen to, but I thought this was interesting enough for you all to hear.
Grow seeds, light and no water. That's why no produce grow, and that's why nobody goes. Cause hate breeds hate, and it ain't no love. You can't feed your family off no shotgun slugs. So let me be the one to say what's on all of our mind. I wish you would try me when that sun goes down. Try it in the big city with your small minds. And we'll run you back to your small town. We'll run you right back to your small town. We'll run you right back to your small town. We'll run you right back to your small town. Yo, if
Well, first of all, he ain't no worse than Jason Aldean was. He's no worse. That's the first thing. Second of all, he gets 10 points for effort. He gets 10 points for effort. You got to hear the whole thing, y'all. He's on the right side. He's on the right side of the law. He's on the right side of the law. I didn't want to start from the beginning, but he's on the right side of the law. That's why he's saying you can't feed your kids with no shotgun slugs. The produce don't grow. So yeah, I give him credit. I give him 10 points for effort.
in the big city with your small minds. So let me be the one to say what's on all of our mind. I wish you would try me when that sun goes down. Try it in the big city with your small minds. And we'll run you back to your small town. We'll run you right back to your small town. We'll run you right back to your small town. We'll run you right back to your small town.
We'll run you right back to your small town. Just thought we wanted to give a little bit of an addendum to your song, sir. Try that in the small town. You might end up getting run back to your small town. And by the way, there's still plenty of us in your so-called small towns. And I just couldn't help but notice, Jason Aldean, you're a bit of a coward, aren't you? You could have been saying all this over the course of the last 3 years. Where were you 3 years ago when we was in the streets? And we were in Georgia. We were in St. Louis. We were all over the place. Where the hell were you for the last 3 damn years? Because we was turned up everywhere, including my hometown of Shreveport. We were turned up everywhere. Birmingham, Alabama. We were turned up everywhere. What the hell you talking about? We're not going to drive 3 hours outside of out to get out there in the sticks. We're not going to come up your damn dirt gravel road. Hello, we was in your small towns already. Where was this? Where was all this talk 3 years ago when we was setting it up? Where was all that talk 3 years ago? When we were in the streets 2 years ago, when we was in the streets last year, when we were in the streets, where was all this then? Where was all this then? Where was all this then? he doing then? He was dead ass quiet, wasn't he? I told y'all when we were in the streets, why weren't they saying nothing then? We wasn't hard to find. We were not hard to find. We was everywhere. We were like, hey, we ready to get with the business. They wait until everybody done left the streets. Yeah, come try that now. Man, the streets are, first of all, you filming your video in the middle of the damn night. That's the first thing. You're filming your video literally in the middle of the night. Talking about try this in a small town. Dude, it's 1 in the damn morning. It's 1 in the damn morning. He's trying to call some folk out on a random Tuesday at 1 in the morning. But when we were out there and available in Georgia, in Atlanta, in Augusta, when we was in the streets, wasn't no Jason Aldean to be found. He was sitting at home, sitting up here, shining up his boots. He wasn't writing no songs then. Y'all, you couldn't find his ass with a harmonica and corn on the cob. He wasn't saying anything then. Totally quiet. Yeah, we done had the pull-up going on now for years. Jason Aldean was nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. And I'll remind you all of one more thing. You know, since Jason Aldean thinks that these are things we need to be concerned about, and carjackers and robbing liquor stores and whatnot and violent crime, you know what? I agree with that totally. Ahmaud Arbery would probably agree with you also, Jason Aldean. I'm sure that Ahmaud Arbery would agree with you also. I'm sure that Jordan Neely would agree with you also. And oh yeah, the dozens of people who got gunned down at that country music concert in Vegas, they would agree with you also. I'm pretty sure all of them would agree with you. That they think there are some things that need to be addressed and some violent crime issues need to be addressed. Yes, I'm certain that there's a lot of other folks who would agree with you, except it doesn't look like you're singing a song for them. It doesn't look like you're singing a song for them. So I want you all to take this very, very seriously. Yeah, they're mayoed up. They got no rhythm. It's crazy and chaotic. If you're planning on marching in the war, singing this song right here, the fight's already over and you're already done. However, you get the point. You get the idea. And I want all of you all to see that this is the anthem here. They got a little jingle here. They're trying to get that stirred up. They're trying to talk to young whites. And this will be the kind of thing that does resonate with some of them. This will be the kind of thing that does resonate with some of them. This will go a long damn way with some of them. They're not doing this for nothing. They're doing this because they recognize that we need to say more. We need to do more. We got to get something out there. This isn't made to sell albums. This is made to be a throwaway, disposable thing. This is pure social political messaging. It's not made to make money. It's simply made to be out there and to toe the line, to popularize this among the young, like the Hitler Youth. It's meant for that. That's what it's meant for. It's meant for that. And that's dangerous. Now, something for you to keep in mind. That is dangerous when you see this kind of thing happening there. This is how dedicated that they are to this. Yeah, it's sloppy. Yeah, it's corny. Yeah, it's damn near laughable. But it's not funny when you've got certain individuals that adopt it. That part ain't funny. That part's not funny. And you and me and us and we have to take this for the deadly serious threat that it is. Recognize that Jason Aldean speaks for a disturbing number of other people. Some of them might even be black. He speaks for a disturbing number of them. So you need to be aware of what is out there so you know what you can do about it. There are consequences that go beyond this. White supremacy is certainly on the march right now, and boy, let me tell you, they are going even further. They're going even further. And I want to go into detail about that too as well. But we're going to do first, we're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. Before I do, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. My man Black Voltron, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. I am Waf, Hakeem, everybody else here in Super Chat, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. Thanks to all of you who provide more than just lip service, because understand something, Fox News, multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, that's the megaphone that they're giving to the Jason Aldeans. That's the megaphone he's got. Literally millions of dollars worth of free advertising and promotion. That's what we are up against at the grassroots. So thank you for supporting the black media. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to show you how far this movement is going now in the modern era and how bold they're getting about it. This is the Black Channel.
Are you ready to take the next step in your career or business? With Higher Life Recruiting and Consulting, you can get the help you need to reach your goals. Our experiences span multiple industries, giving us the ability to source top talent across various fields. We specialize in STEM and high-tech industries, but we are equally adept at recruiting and professional services. Our services include career consulting, resume writing, LinkedIn consulting, interviewing, lead generation, sourcing, and talent mapping. Follow us on Instagram at Get Higher With Us.
Having computer problems? Is your PC or Mac running slow? Need help building a gaming PC? Having problems with your Apple or Android device? Call or text Fix Too Fast. We can fix common and uncommon computer software issues remotely anywhere nationwide from the comfort of your home or business. Are you having hardware issues with your PC or Mac? Ship it to us and we will ship it back fixed. Call 1-877-412-9890 or text 513-440-1646 to speak to a technician. Please visit our website at www.fixtoofast.net.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, Black First. A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spirit of1811publishing.com and show your love.
More Threads, a brand owned by a descendant of Black American freedmen, was created to uniquely address Black American history and contributions that have been intentionally hidden and suppressed. Use their apparel and more to learn and share the Black American history of Black inventions, heroes, towns, Black business districts, and more. Sign up and support not only a Black-owned business, but a movement at www.morethread.co.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Natural Body Butter with skin so smooth and soft You'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And on top of everything else here, you want to know about them becoming more emboldened. You want to hear about them becoming more bold in what they're doing. Oh, just understand, they think they got a little march going on here. They're becoming more aggressive. And one of the ways in which they're becoming more aggressive is here. For those of you who've not noticed, by the way, yes, sir, what they said is, you know what? Damn a Supreme Court. We ain't worried about that. Damn a Supreme Court. In Alabama, as you know, they ruled that they needed to redo their congressional districts because, of course, they gerrymandered it to put all the black folk off in one district. And they've been told, y'all got to bust that up. And these folks here have decided, screw the Supreme Court. Oh, this is how far we're going along with it. This is how far we're going along with it. AP, Associated Press, Montgomery, Alabama. Alabama on Friday refused to create a second majority black congressional district, a move that could defy a recent order from the U.S. Supreme Court to give minority voters a greater voice and trigger a renewed battle over the state's political map. So even the Associated Press, well, this could. See, when black folks show up, it is. With white folks, well, this could be. This could be defying the Supreme Court. It could be. White privilege, staying on code. Lawmakers in the Republican-dominated House and Senate instead passed a plan that would increase the percentage of black voters from about 31% to 40% in the state's second district. The map was a compromise between plans that had percentages of 42% and 38% for the Southeast Alabama district. GOP Governor Kay Ivey quickly signed it. State lawmakers faced a deadline to adopt new district lines after the Supreme Court in June upheld a 3-judge panel's finding that the current state map, with one majority black district out of 7 in a state that is 27% black, one majority black district out of 7, over a quarter of the state is black, and yet only 1/7 of the districts are black. And that likely violates the Federal Voting Rights Act. You mean the one that they gutted? Voting rights advocates and black lawmakers said the plan invoked the state's Jim Crow history of treating black voters unfairly. Former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, man, if you don't get the hell out of here, you useless bastard. Republicans argued that their proposal complies with the directive to create a second district where black voters could influence the outcome of congressional elections. Opponents said it flouted a directive from the panel to create a second majority black district, or, quote, something quite close to it, so that black voters, quote, have an opportunity to elect a representative of their choice. The 140-seat Alabama legislature has 33 black lawmakers. All but one are Democrats. Republicans have been reluctant to create a Democrat-leaning district and are engaging in a high-stakes wager that the panel will accept their proposal or that the state will prevail in a second round of appeals. Republicans argue that the map meets the court's directive and draws compact districts that comply with redistricting guidelines. Quote, if you think about where we were, the Supreme Court ruling of 5-4, so there's just one judge that needs to see something different, and I think the movement that we have and what we've come to compromise on today gives us a good shot, House Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter said. So that's going on in Alabama right now. Black Alabama lawmakers say it's crucial to their constituents that their constituents have a better chance of electing their choices. Quote, I have people in my district saying their vote doesn't count, and I understand why they say that, Representative Thomas Jackson, a Thomasville Democrat, said during debate Friday. The person they want to elect can never get elected because they are in the minority all the time. Because white supremacy engineers things. It doesn't believe in fairness. Black lawmakers disputed that the changes to the 2nd District, an area with deep ties to agriculture and home to military bases, would easily become a swing district. They speculated that state Republicans are seeking to mount another challenge to federal voting law. Quote, this is designed to protect a few people and ultimately to finish off the Voting Rights Act, said Representative Chris England, a Democrat lawmaker from Tuscaloosa. An analysis by the Associated Press using redistricting software shows that the 2nd District proposed Friday has mostly voted for Republicans in recent statewide elections. Donald Trump won the district by nearly 10 percentage points in his 2020 re-election bid. Experts have said the GOP proposals fall short of what the Supreme Court said last month is required. Well, yeah. Try that in your small towns. That's the only place you could get away with something like that. Yes, try it in your small towns. Try it there. But they're far from the only ones. Another situation here that shocks the conscience and shocks the mind, although it really shouldn't. Down there in Florida, not to be outdone, fighting for their credentials as a Confederate state. I guess they feel like they get left out of the conversation too much, so Florida is foot to the floor to qualify their white supremacist credentials. What you're seeing on your screen is not a joke. What you're seeing on your screen is not a joke. This is literally what the curriculum they're wanting to push there says. New Florida standards, they're talking about in the school textbooks, teach students that some black people benefited from slavery because it taught useful skills. People, this is Bull Connor. This is George Wallace. This is Strom Thurmond. This is Robert Byrd. Not in 1923, in 2023. This is Daughters of the Confederacy. Today, this is after so-called integration, after so-called desegregation in a state like Florida, which has a sizable black population in places. This is what's happening today, not 100 years ago, right now. Right here, right now. Everything they do targets black people. You're 13% of the population, 90% of the oppression. There must be something special about the foundation. There must be something special about the descendants of the American slaves. There must be something special about us for you to give us this kind of targeting. There must be something special about slavery. For all these folks who keep saying, why do you need reparations? Slavery was so long ago. Because if reparations is irrelevant because of how long ago slavery was, why is it that these lawmakers keep coming back to it? Folks, next time somebody tells you reparations, you don't need it because reparations was so long ago, then why is it that the lawmakers keep targeting slavery in their legislation, in their textbooks? Why do they keep targeting it today? If it's irrelevant, If it doesn't matter, if it has no effect on today, if it doesn't have any sort of influence, if that's the case, then why are the white guys in these legislatures still focusing on it so much? Why? Yes, now also includes Mr. Diaz. He's the one over there on the right. That's Mr. Diaz over there on the right. Mr. Diaz talking to you too. Well, there were some folks who tried to say that Governor DeSantis didn't have anything to do with this, that he wasn't aware of what was going on. Unfortunately for him, somebody got up and decided to ask some questions. And Ron DeSantis, of course, not knowing when the hell to shut up, he decided he would take a leadership position. Ron DeSantis decides that he will take a leadership position when asked about this question. So first he tries to run from it. Then he realizes, that's not very presidential, especially in your state. This is your school curriculum. This is part of the legislation, the so-called anti-woke education legislation that you passed. So all of a sudden, Ron DeSantis, first he wanted to run from it, then he said, I can't do that, damn, gotta stick by it. Okay, here's a good suggestion, and then he makes it, and then he backs down from that. Listen to what I'm saying, you're gonna hear it. First he tries to run from it, then he goes back to defend it, and then you see the white woman behind him with the flowers dress on, you see her reaction, and then he doubles back again. He's like, oh, well, let me distance myself. So he tried to run away, then he tried to run back, then he tries to run away. Fella, if you have to run away from your own legislation, that's your first clue that you shouldn't be doing it.
Get your clarification on one thing within the policy. It says instruction includes how slaves develop skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. Could you just explain why?
Well, you should talk to them about.
Okay, if you didn't hear what she said, going back to the curriculum here, it says that the slaves develop certain skills as a result of being in slavery that were for their benefit. And can you just give us a few more details and elaborate on that?
In the policy, it says instruction includes how slaves develop skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. Could you just explain why?
Well, you should talk to them about it. I mean, I didn't do it, and I wasn't involved in it. But I think what they're doing is I think that they're probably going to show some of the folks that eventually parlayed, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality is all of.
Y'all, take a look at the Asian woman to Ron DeSantis' left. She's over there on the right-hand side of the screen. Take a look at the Asian woman. Take a look at the white woman. Take a look at what they did when he started talking, when he said that. Well, I think they're trying to parlay it. Take a look at those two women. First of all, the white man over on the far left-hand side of the screen with the glasses. Take a look at how he adjusts his glasses, and then take a look at what the two women do. If you don't think they can all tell that this is bull crap and he's in trouble, take a look at their response when he starts talking.
They're probably going to show some of the folks that eventually parlayed, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality.
Oh hell! You see the two women
later in life. But the reality is all of that is rooted.
Okay, you see these nervous ass smiles up here, boy. He's making life rough, ain't he? He's making life tough for y'all.
Being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality.
Okay, she did something with the white woman because the white woman turned when she turned. So y'all see that, don't you? The fella over there adjusts his glasses. The white and the Asian woman start squirming.
That eventually parlayed, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality is all of that is rooted in whatever is factual. They listed everything out. And if you have any questions about it, just ask the Department of Education. You can talk about.
Okay, I think the white woman back there is pregnant. I think the baby's in the womb saying, what the hell he up there talking about? I know this is wrong. I ain't even been born yet, and I know it's wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and replay his comments again because I want you to see. First, he tries to get away from, well, I don't really know anything about that. Then he tries to defend it. Well, let me go and say that. Oh, but you got to go talk to them. I don't really know nothing about that.
Well, you should talk to them about it. I mean, I didn't do it, and I wasn't involved in it. But I think what they're doing is I think that they're probably going to show some of the folks that eventually parlayed, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality is all of that is rooted in whatever is factual. They listed everything out. And if you have any questions about it, just ask the Department of Education. You can talk about those folks. But I mean, these were scholars who put that together. It was not anything that was done politically.
Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there comes a point in a politician's political aspirations. There comes a point in a campaign that crystallizes everything in a single moment. And this was just Ron DeSantis's moment. Ron DeSantis's presidential aspirations ended right here. He is not just tone deaf, he's tone deaf and stupid. Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign just ended right here. He has made it this far, and he will make it no farther. He didn't recognize a common sense question that he should have avoided. Now he's given the world audio. Now he just gave the world audio. Folks, there are moments in a campaign when you say things you should not say. When John Kerry said I voted against the war before I voted for it. Oh, I voted for the war before I voted against it. Hillary Clinton trying to confront Barack Obama and he shoved her words down her throat. John McCain, when he said in 2007, the fundamentals of our economy are strong as we were entering the Great Recession, the second greatest economic downturn in American history. And he's telling the country and the world the fundamentals of our economy are sound. Everything's fine. What you mean, economic downturn? Things are great. Never been better. There comes a moment, a point in a campaign where a politician says something that simply crystallizes everything about him. Then he says something that is so just incredibly unforgettable that it's a common sense question, and what he says flies in the face of literally everything that everybody else is saying. Well, this was his moment right here. Folks, we just watched Ron DeSantis's political career, certainly his presidential run, come to an end. The only way he survives this is if they find video of Joe Biden in the last 24 months in bed with 3 black women and a bunch of, I don't want to say the rest of it here, but just some illegal sexual activity. It had to be that. I'm sorry. Joe Biden in bed with 3 black women screaming, nigga, nigga, nigga. That's the only, no. That's the only way that DeSantis can make a comeback at this point, is if Biden just does something that's just outrageous. Don't put it past Joe. It could happen. Don't put it past Joe. It could happen. But other than that, are you kidding me? Tim Scott, other than Donald Trump, Tim Scott just became the Republican frontrunner. Tim Scott is sitting at home somewhere saying, way to go, Ron. Keep it up, brother. Tim Scott is somewhere in South Carolina doing the Birdman hand rub. Yeah, so glad you... Ron, I thought that was a great answer, Ron. I ain't gonna say it, but I thought that was a great answer for me. Yeah, buddy. Oh, no, you just saw... I'm not going to dwell on this too much tonight because I've actually got more information about this, so I'll probably come back and do a full program about this tomorrow night. I just wanted to touch on this real quick and just make it clear. By the way, if you wanted to know what was going on down there in the crazy District of Florida, more of this right here, and they can't even stay on code during the damn press conference to not be laughing at the man when he started speaking. The 2 women over there behind him to his left, I mean, take a look at them, smiling. Do you hear this old crazy mess he talking about? Now, you don't see their lips move. You see this old crazy mess he talking about? They're like, yeah, he's done. I wonder if the Asian chick is over there saying, I wonder if I can put in my resume with the mayor of Miami. I wonder if I can put in my resume with them. I wonder if I can put my resume in with him and see what I can get out of that. Yeah, because this guy is done. He just literally microwaved himself in front of the damn world. By the way, y'all, on Twitter, one of the number one things trending today is the word slavery. When you pull up slavery, it's Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is famous now at a time he doesn't need to be. Now, some folk would say, well, Jason, it's the year before. He can get this all out of the way now. This is the kind of sound clip that comes back to haunt you. He would literally have to run against this for the remainder of his time running for president, and he can't afford to do that. He can't afford to do that. He's done. It's over. Y'all sit there and see that boy, he's done. You see the white woman and the Asian woman, it's like, yeah, we're toast. Yeah, we're barbecued. Yeah. Oh, it's over. They say it's all over with the shouting. Yeah, you can go ahead and start shouting. It's over. It's over. Right here, right now, right at this podium. He's done. Yeah. Nothing you can do for this. Yeah, that is a wrap. Yeah, that's a wrap. Like I say, I may come back and deal with that. However, you might disagree. You might have a different take on this. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. As always, you are welcome to join us. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much for your support. As you can see, they are making a full frontal assault. They're making a full court press. They are becoming way more blatant. Some people would say they're becoming too blatant. As far as I'm concerned, they are as blatant as they need to be. This is the kind of stuff I like. People, can't nobody hide behind this. They can't hide behind this. You can't defend this. You can't defend a single thing that we saw and heard today. You can't defend a single one of these. There is no defending it. So I'm like, man, let them be blatant. Let them be raw. Let them be who they're gonna be. Let them come on out and just say it. Let them come on out and just say it. We got to get used to that. We got to get used to understanding that if you want us to win these arguments, you're going to have to let these folks be a lot more blatant. Don't try to shut them up. Give them, when they start flowing, when they start kicking it freestyle on the mic, man, turn the volume up. Tell them, hold on. Can you wait a moment here? Let me turn this amplifier on for you a minute. Let me let everybody hear it. Because it has to be so damn egregious. Folks, it can't be nuanced. We can't let them speak in code. It's got to be up front, in your face, unmistakable. That's the only way that it's so offensive that nobody will try to defend them. The reason why we're making so much progress with reparations is because once you start getting the folk talking their supposed counter arguments, that's when it falls apart. When we get them to say what they really think, that's when it all falls apart. So don't try to shut them up. Let them flow. Let them do what they're going to do. All this makes it easy for us. Big shout out here to my man Black Voltron in the super chat. Thank you very much for your support tonight, brother. We appreciate it. YGLBT1, YGLTB1, thank you very much for your support as well. No, it's not an aberration. And Leonard Skinner and all those folks down there like that, they trying to resurrect it. Hell, they aren't even, by the way, they're not even as good as Leonard Skinner was, by the way. He wished he could have been black. Didn't work out for him. He said, all right, damn it. Screw it. White supremacy it is. Let's go ahead and get to the telephone lines. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Black Media. Caller from area code 281. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Prince out of Richmond, Texas.
Prince out of Richmond. What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, I used this word earlier today, but it was in a different context. Authentic. Jason, authentic American history, music, and social struggles have been shaped by us. FBA, freedmen, descendants of the slaves. Matter of fact, our defiance have changed the Constitution of the United States. We've changed immigration patterns where they wouldn't let black people in and other groups in. We changed that. That's what they're afraid of us as far as we getting our reparations. And see, this Jason Aldean, see all these, you know, I'm from Texas. I'm from Houston. People don't realize, even though Fifth Ward is right by downtown Houston, it was different from Third Ward. We have horses. We in trail ride groups, all that stuff. And they listen to some of the country music. This Aldean guy, this Jason Aldean, he all of them like to make rap songs with like Ludacris and different people. But you know what? When Beyonce made that song Daddy Lessons, they didn't even want to classify it as a country song. When one time, I don't know if you remember Captain and Tennille from back in the day, they tried to take Gladys Knight, and she was trying to get her to sing a country song, and she was trying to sing it with her. Gladys Knight blew out the water.
They remember, they know. You got to understand, when you're making music, that's the reason why we call it soul. Because we're communicating to the world where that came from. Well, I argue with you that this is white supremacist soul music. This is if you could hear what the white supremacist quote unquote soul sounds like, it would sound a lot like this.
Spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah.
It is depressing. The notes and the keys, it's depressing, it's low key, it is discordant. Look it up. It is in conflict with itself. It doesn't have rhythm to it. He is certainly he's only succeeding at one thing, expressing his hostility. Now that he's succeeded at. As a piece of music, this is worthless. This is an insult to beats and measures.
See, and they had a song on YouTube today, a whole bunch of little white and other kids, Asian kids, no black children, trying to sing like the Backstreet Boys. So they're basically taking a knockoff of our music, and they're gonna start saying that is American music. Where we know Elvis Presley got his voice from Roy Hamilton, a black man, an R&B singer. And he stole songs from Big Mama Thornton, who recorded 2 blocks from my house at Peacock Records, and from Little Richard, and Otis Blackwell. See, these people, they come in because when we talk, Jason, see, that's what a lot of people don't understand. When we talk with a rhythm, with a flow, when we communicate. So black music wasn't just made in Mississippi. It wasn't born in Mississippi. It was all over the South. Every church we went to when we did come out of slavery, the churches, the Jew joints was vehicles of our expression of our music. But
well, you know, I mean, the interesting thing here is these are the guys who refer to themselves as rebels, and in their music, they sit up here and talk about breaking the law all the damn time. Very interesting that these are the counterculture guys from their side. And by the way, they have no problem with freedom of speech when they're insulting black people. They have no problem with that. Here's the problem. The issue here is, well, you can't call it freedom of speech if you cannot say what you want to say. Freedom of speech is not to defend people who agree with you. Freedom of speech is to defend people who do not agree with you. That's the whole purpose of freedom of speech, is to defend people who do not agree with you. To defend people who may have ideas that you think are abhorrent. But it's not freedom if it isn't. So these guys are all for freedom, quote, freedom, as long as it empowers them. Other than that, you go over there to Arkansas and go down to Alabama, yeah, damn the Constitution. So the Constitution is a great and fabulous and wonderful thing so long as it does what they want it to do. As soon as it no longer does what they want it to do, yeah, screw the Constitution. And furthermore,
Jason,
if you really want to talk about a restriction on the people, let's be very, very clear. Let's be very, very clear about this. You talk about restrictions on the people. Who's killed more people than the American government? Who has?
Nobody.
And I'm not just talking, here's the thing, with impunity. Who has killed more people on American soil than the U.S. government? I'm talking about city, state, and federal. Who's killed more people on U.S. soil with impunity? Jackass Jason Aldean talking about carjacking somebody, robbing a liquor store. Well, those people get punished and sent to jail. Meanwhile, the police that he's referring to can merrily gun folks down. You got folks telling you that there's no crime that's been committed. They'll be sitting there with Confederate flag shirts on, hurling racial epithets, and he'll be the first one telling you there is no crime that's been committed here.
But their favorite show, Jason, about two redneck brothers, cousins, what is it called? The Dukes of Hazzard. That was about two criminals running from the police. And they talk about people being criminals, all the murders that's happening in these little country towns. Yeah, that's what they promoted.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Yeah, when do the rebels, you want to know when the rebels become part of the establishment? When we show up. So what does that tell you? The so-called rebels are the establishment. You a fool when you sit up here and try to talk some nonsense as if you got camaraderie with them. They are not against the establishment. Take a look at how quickly they flipped and turned on you right here. Oh, we're a part of it. We're a part of it. These will be the same folks who will sit up here and yell and scream about January 6th and their right to tear things up, by the way. These will be the same folks now. Because I'm checking through here. I was looking through here to see, did he have any clips from when Trump's people went and stormed the nation's capital? I'm asking the question here. By the way, did anybody check Jason Aldean's video to see if he had any clips from when Trump's people did the greatest insurrection ever and stormed the nation's capital? Hey, Jason Aldean, did you miss those clips? Did they refuse to license them to you? Because I took a look through there. I can't seem to find it. If you showed it, you must have flashed it real damn fast because I missed it. So let me get this straight. Some rioters you defend. Some rioters are cool. Others are not. So somebody needs to ask Jason Aldean about the good rioters on January 6th. Caller from Area Code 601. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Sarah calling from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Sarah from Vicksburg, what's on your mind?
Yes, I'm glad we are on the subject of music tonight. They had to create an Elvis Presley because the men that created rock and roll was Chuck Berry and Little Richard. And they couldn't deal with white girls screaming and hollering. Well, I don't know, but Elvis Presley was born in an area in Tupelo called Shake Rag. It was a black community. His parents were Pentecostal. He used to sneak out of the church on Sunday and go to the black church. And you know what's going on in the black churches. They're getting down. And I told this story to a young white boy I met about 7 years ago at the Margaret Walker Center in Jackson. And he said, well, why would he leave his church to go to a black church? I said, well, I don't know if you've ever been in a black Baptist church, but our people really get down. But just like you said, years ago, I remember in '56, they made a TV movie about Elvis. And just what you said, they would not play our music on the radio stations, but I've read stories where little white kids would have a transistor radio under their pillow late at night listening to music, our music coming out of Nashville, Tennessee. But
black people's music in America is what Japanese anime is to cartoons. Yeah, you got Disney, but once the world saw anime, it forever changed the way that they saw cartoons, period. Yeah, you had some white folk making music in America, but once we got a hold of it, it forever changed everything. You simply couldn't go back to the way things were. The old stuff was abrasive to your ears. Why? Because the truth of the matter is we created something far more sophisticated. If this other stuff was okay, then you can't go back to, when you become a more sophisticated organism, you can't go back to being a more simplistic organism. It ain't going to work. I'll let you have the last word.
All of the music out of this country has come from us. The classical, so-called classical music came out of Europe. We brought the spirituals, the jazz, and the blues. That's all our music.
Well, we created it because we are the only people, because we were divorced from where we came from, and we were not allowed where the whites were. We were divorced from where we came from and not allowed where the whites were, so we never picked up their European ancestry and heritage, and we couldn't really rely on where we came from, so we were forced to have the ingenuity to create something new. That's why everything that you have in America had to come from us, because we're the only ones who didn't bring anything with us. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We're the only ones who didn't bring something with us. All these other people brought the baggage of where they came from. So they were attempting to look it up. They were looking to elaborate and expound on what they already had. We were the only ones who were forced to build music from the ground up, to build it from scratch. Now think about this for a moment. Without any formal music training, without any old songs to rely on, without any musical instruments, we were forced to build music. Intellectually, psychologically, we were forced to build music from the ground up. And what we built was sublime. What we built was superb. And we continue to do it to this very day. You did not have American music before we showed up. You had the transplants from Europe. There was nothing that came from America that we did not build and continue to build to this day. Does anybody recognize ska? Does anyone recognize any of that? No. This other stuff came and went. What we built has endured. What we have built has endured. You know why? Because that's the very definition of survival. Survival is about resisting. Do not go gently into that dark night. Survival is about the art of resisting. We have resisted extinction. Everything about us has resisted extinction, including our music, including our expression. And the world has been galvanized behind it. This stuff here, dude, ain't nobody galvanized behind this Mayo music. Hell, you can't even keep it in proper rhythm. Ain't nobody galvanized behind this. Caller Mirror Code 469, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Thomas calling from Dallas, Texas.
Thomas from Dallas, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Jason, you're right. I mean, we're the soul. Black people are the soul of this country. You take black people out of this country, there's no more soul. There's no more beat, the heartbeat of the country. I mean, we created everything from the food to the music, you name it. And it's a joke that we have people out here trying to take our music and call it their own. But yeah, with DeSantis, man, that clown burnt himself up right there on national TV. And that little Chinese woman looked back at the other white woman like, ain't this a bitch? Yeah, we living in times where you got country singers trying to gaslight white supremacists to attack us, but it's going to backfire. And the only thing he's banging, Jason Aldean is banging in the woods, is his first cousin. Don't let these clowns fool you. These hillbillies in these woods, man, they ain't doing nothing out there. You go out there, they don't want us in these small towns. They don't want that smoke. So yeah, I mean, he just running his mouth, man. It's not really for, like you said, he's talking to the white supremacists. He think that might go out there and do something, but they don't want it either. Because one thing, the white supremacists always wanted us to be punching bags, but we punch back, and we ain't taking it no more. So, yeah, B1.
B1, brother, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 956. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this Trey Lincoln calling. I'm in Edinburgh right now.
Okay.
Edinburgh, Texas.
Trey Lincoln from Edinburgh, Texas, and what's on your mind?
Yeah, they told me to call in because I said chill out on Jason Aldean. So, I mean, you know, I listen to country music a little bit, and I grew up on it. And so that's all I said. It wasn't a big thing. I listen to your broadcast every week.
Okay,
so I guess they had a problem.
Okay,
you know,
so what is it? What is it about? What is it about Jason Aldean's song that you think is defensible?
I mean, that was just one song. I just heard that yesterday. But before that, I mean, I was listening to...
Okay, sir, well, let's not skid outside the line, sir. I asked you a question. I'll try this again. What is it about that song? You said we need to chill out on him. Well, we're talking about that song. That song is objectionable. What is it about that song that you think is defensible?
I haven't even listened to the song. Okay,
well, sir, if you were listening to my program today, you did. But my real point here is, furthermore, how can you say chill out on Jason Aldean if you don't even know what the song said, allegedly?
I mean, I'm just going about, hey, I listened to him, and I listened to your broadcast, and everybody was up in the outroar because he said whatever. I mean, but it's...
Okay, no, sir. He didn't say whatever, sir. So once again, how can you defend something when you don't even know what you're defending? This isn't the time to be a feckless fanboy. If you're going to defend this, you need to know what was said, because otherwise you don't even... How can you defend him if you don't even know what you're defending?
Well, he said, well, try that in a small town. What white person don't say try this in a small town?
Okay, but sir, yeah, the objection is not try this in a small town. Context matters. What is it that he's saying don't try in a small town, sir?
I mean, they just trying to rile up their base, get their people out.
Okay, sir, and their base goes around lynching people like Ahmaud Arbery. That's what their base does when they get riled up. So he'll rile them up, and then they got a January 6th or a Charlottesville, sir.
Yeah, that Charlotte, that did happen. But that's what the Democrats want anyway,
Okay, well, here's what I want you to do. What I want you to do me a favor. I want you to get on Zoom for me.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and post the link to Zoom.
Right now?
Yes, sir, right now.
What's the chat?
Okay, I'm going to post the link to Zoom at the top of the chat room here now, so you can go ahead and take a look at that. All you have to do is click on that link, and it'll take you straight there to it. Understand?
Yes.
All right, it has been pinned to the top of the chat room there now. By the way, it helps if you turn off your speakers there. That it helps to figure out what's going on. But I'd like you to go ahead and just turn that on for me.
Okay.
And none of the rest of y'all try to jump on Zoom. This is not the time for everybody else. This is not the time for anybody else on Zoom. Okay, Trey, is that you on Zoom now?
Okay. Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Put me on, make me famous.
Well, it's not about making you famous necessarily there, but it works if you turn the audio and the video on, sir. It certainly works if you do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Trey, now you say you're from Edinburgh, Texas?
Yeah, Edinburgh, Texas, down here in the valley, where these Mexicans at.
Okay, brother. And do you have any Mexican women or white women with you there now?
Nah, not now. I mean, they was calling me. They want me to go out with them tonight.
Okay,
go out,
so
put my square toes on.
So you had some Mexican women who wanted you to go out with them tonight. We don't hear you, Trey. Let me see. Is he? Oh, did you change your audio over? That might be confusing you. Trey is trying to figure out this newfangled technology. Trey is still on the phone, but he's also on Zoom. Trey needs to choose one. It literally has a button on Zoom for microphone. That's literally all you have to do is press that and you'll be on. Try to figure it out, Trey. Do we need hand puppets?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Okay, now we can hear you, sir. Yes, little microphone icon. This amazing marvel. It really is. Okay, so Trey, with your great taco meat. So you said you were going out this evening with some white women?
Nah, I said Mexican women, but they relate to white though anyway.
Okay, but sir, Mexican is not a race. That's a nationality, but it's not a race. So if they're not Afro-Latinas, then they're white.
Yeah, that's what I say. They relate to white.
Okay, there you go. All right. And by the way, about what age range are these young ladies in?
They in like they my age. They in their 50s.
Okay, so he's got some 50-something-year-old Mexican. Is this more than one Mexican woman? Like you starting a harem? What are we doing?
Nah, she got some friends. She said she was out with some friends.
Okay,
she invited me to come over and hang out with her.
Y'all are going by. I mean, are you the only guy going?
Yeah.
So Trey, what are you gonna do with all this Mexican femininity around you on a Saturday night? What do you plan to do with all that?
Have fun, shit, like I always do.
Okay,
they love black men down here. Come down here. Let me. I got 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay, well,
come down here and stay with me.
Well, forgive me. I'll have to decline your generous invitation to your bedroom. I'll have to decline that.
I got an extra bedroom, bro.
Okay, I'll have to decline all invitations to all bedrooms. But if my car breaks down in Edinburgh, I'll check and see if I got it around there somewhere. So where are you from originally?
Freeport, right there, 40 miles from Houston. 288 South, baby, Surfside Beach.
Okay, but do you have any kids?
Yes. They live up there. They live in Houston. I'm in the trucking industry, so I moved down here because it's like the Mecca, and so I drive trucks.
Okay, and you listen to country music?
Yeah, I listen to country music.
Oh,
got my square toes and everything.
Okay, who are your favorite country music artists?
Right now, I like the Florida Georgia line. I like Jason Aldean, just to name a few.
That's not a few. That's a couple. Can you do a couple more?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I don't think you're a country music fan. I think you're a white.
I
think you're a white woman fan, but I don't think you're a country music fan. So I think you just pretend to be one when they show up. He can name a couple songs, and I ain't hating, man. I ain't busting your hustle.
Hey,
if they go for it, there you go. If they go for it, brother, I ain't mad at you. If they let you get away with that little bull jive, hey man, milk it for all it's worth.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
If they ain't smart enough to see you don't really know no country music, Trace Adkins, and if they're not smart enough to see that you don't really know anything, if they let you get away with that, brother, run the tables.
Yeah.
Put them all in the back of your Chevy CK pickup truck and just drive around Houston with them.
Now I got an F-250, F-150.
He got room to pull plenty of them, don't he? He's got room to pull plenty of them. Brother, do you own a Confederate flag?
Nah, none of that. No.
No Confederate flags at all. Any Mexican flags?
No Mexican flags.
Okay, how in the world did you get hooked up with a bunch of Mexican women?
Shit, chasing Mexican women.
Chasing them?
Yeah, I found one and met one and moved down here.
Okay,
the trucking industry in South Texas, where I'm at, the trucking industry is big down here. And so I got my CDLs and I was like, man, I could go get me a job down here. And I got me a job and I've been running over the road for since 2011.
Okay, brother. Now, can you square with us here? Can you tell the world the truth? You found a couple of cool little lot lizards and it's Saturday night. Brother, come on.
You can go, time out. You can go on my Facebook. It's Trey Lincoln and just scroll everything. I put everything on there. Okay. I listen to you like every week, especially when I'm on the road on the highway. I tune into your show. And I just didn't get a load this weekend. That's why I'm at the house.
Okay, well, brother, maybe you need to go listen to Jason's song and see what's in it and review the points that I made here tonight, because it's not very flattering. I know this is gonna mess up your hustle here, but here's the real thing about it: if those women like that kind of music, I would hate for your big ass to turn up missing somewhere.
No, they listen. They got me going to some club tonight. They listen to some. It's gonna be like some 80s music.
Yeah, these are the famous last words of every nigga that goes off with one of them folk like that. These are the famous. Oh, don't worry, it ain't no problem. We just going to a club. I don't even know the club I'm going to. I don't even know the club. Do you even know the
Arigatos or something?
Thank you. Arigatos or something. If you need to call the police for help, you wouldn't even know where you was at. Help me! They gonna grab me by the leg. It's imigatos. It's elegitos. It's enchiladas. It's something. Damn it! Come get my ass. That would be you.
Hey, you know what, Jason? Hey, only time I had a run-in with the law is because I
brother. Do you really want to do this? No, do you really want to go here?
Yes, we're gonna go here.
Okay, go right ahead.
No, I only had one run-in with the law, and that was because I went on the shoulder of the road and passed the car. And he was like, hey, why you disrespecting me like that? Hey, and he wrote me a warning ticket. They don't even trip like that out here.
Brother, how long you live in Texas talking about they don't trip like that?
I'm saying South Texas. It's a difference. I'm in South Texas where these Mexicans at. I'm around nothing but Mexicans. It's a few white people come down here, but they call them snowbirds. They come from like Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin.
Brother, I'm trying to help you. Brother, you telling me the police in South Texas is cool?
Yeah, shit, they don't mess with nobody. I ain't never had no run-in with them, but that one time, they don't mess with nobody. Shit.
Brother, how old are you?
I'm 52.
Nigga. Really?
Go to my Facebook. Shit.
Brother, I need to go to your damn Facebook, man. What the hell? Jason, the police in South Texas is cool. They don't mess with nobody. Like I ain't been to South Texas.
What part of South Texas you been to?
Nigga, Houston, Galveston, all the way up.
No, that's north. I'm talking anything. I live past the border, the checkpoint. Nah, I'm further down. I live past Corpus, down here past San Antonio. Pull your map out and look at Edinburgh. It's right there by Reynosa border.
I have no idea where in the hell Edinburgh is. I have no idea.
You heard of McAllen? Well, you heard of South Padre, right?
No. McAllen. Now, McAllen I have, not no San Padre.
Well, that's where I'm at right there.
Nigga, you ain't gonna make it.
Well, I ain't gonna make it. I've been down here 12 years.
You are not, and look what they made you do.
I mean, I'm just conforming to their culture. They like square toe boots, cowboy hats, all that stuff.
Brother.
Shit.
Okay. Well, first of all, I said Houston because you said that's where you was at.
No. I said, you say, where am I originally from? I said Freeport over there by Houston.
Okay, that's the last thing I heard him talking about. Sir, have you thought this over?
About what?
About what will happen if your ass gets caught somewhere.
Man, I done been all up in Reynosa. I done been all over there. I done been all up in Progresso, all of that.
Are you traveling? Are you a former military?
No, I travel alone.
You've never been in the military?
No, sir.
And he been hanging out near the border?
Yeah, sure.
Brother, have you ever been to prison?
Huh?
Have you ever did time?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was about to say that. That was the missing link. I was wondering what the missing link was. I just found the missing link. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna hold it against you. We ain't holding nothing against you. Well, he said he did a little bit of time, and that's where this came from. So it's like, okay, he wants to hang out with the desperados because he's trying to keep his record straight with the streets. So that makes a little bit of sense. Sir, all I can say is watch your ass. Yeah, he think he on top. Y'all, it's the middle of the damn night. He's getting ready to go off to parts unknown with women unseen in a place unfound. Dude, this is how you end up on the news. In Houston, Corpus Christi, Colleen, and everywhere, McAllen and everywhere else. This is how y'all keep ending up on the news. All they sent was a couple of females. He ain't even asking where they going. He's not even sure. Do you even know the address?
Yeah, no, I don't know the address, but I know how to get there.
I hope you know how to get out.
Oh, yeah. Man, it ain't like that down here. I don't have no problem with nothing. With the females, the officers, the dudes, nobody. I've been down here 12 years, brother. That's a long time.
I hope it lasts. What are the first 5 songs that you have in your music player on your phone? What are the first 5?
Probably, I don't even have a playlist. I just listen to what's on the radio.
Lord.
Yeah.
No wonder he's stuck with country music. Okay, brother, we gotta get you upgraded to some XM Sirius or something. Well, thank you very much for giving us a call here, Trey. Watch yourself, brother. For some reason,
bro,
I am worried you are cruising for a bruise. And if you make it from tonight's little bar run, give me a holler next week to let us know you made it out safe, okay?
You're going to have a show tonight. I'm going to be on your show tomorrow, too.
Okay.
You're going to have one for Sunday. I'm going to be there tomorrow.
Okay, well, let us know if you make it back tomorrow, hopefully in a hostage video. I hope it don't get that far along. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight, y'all. That's the Jason Aldean fan right there. That's the Jason Aldean fan. There you go. I'm gonna be all right. I'm just going out with some Mexican women. Where y'all going? I don't know. It's some place named something. I bet you they know where you going. I bet you they know where you gonna be at. I don't know where it is, but they told me just follow them in my truck. I drive a F-250. They told me just follow them in my truck. I'm just gonna follow them in my truck. I'm just gonna go get in my truck. I got my 250. I'm just gonna follow them. We'll be good. Do y'all see why it is? I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I got to know who these folk dealing with before y'all want me to come to their damn rescue. Can y'all hear some of the stuff they were saying beforehand? Y'all, if he comes up missing and this is the last audio that anybody heard from him, can you imagine what the news media gonna do? This is the last, oh man, this is okay. I'm going down. There's some Mexican women. I got my Ford F-250. We cool down here. Where you going? I don't know. What's the name? Can't remember. Who the women? Just met them. Don't worry. I'll be back in a little bit. I'll call you tomorrow. Okay. Y'all want to know how this keeps happening? Do you want to know how that keeps happening? Right there. Oh, he got the taco meat out and everything, y'all. So you know he got him some size 16s. Oh, you know he got him some size 16s. But I mean, he's sitting here on the camera with me, got his shirt wide open, like, hey, brother, indecent exposure. But, I mean, it works on him. So if it's working on him at the level he is, I'm like, hey, good thing you got a F-250. You can get them 16s and 18s up in there. Couple size 16s, couple size 18s. I just hope they don't get hungry and you come on the menu. Call from Area Code 562. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Jay? This is Orlando from Long Beach, California.
Oh, Orlando from Long Beach. What's on your mind?
Man, I don't understand that cat talking about there's no big deal about this Jason Aldean dude. This dude basically was wearing blackface. He's, has an affinity for Confederate shit. Excuse my language. And, I mean, the video itself speaks for itself. I mean, he has that courthouse where the brother was lynched and all that. I mean, how on earth can some dude just pacify and not pay attention to that?
Brother, he told you what it is. Acknowledging that would get in the way of the white women. So like, hey, look here, y'all just avoid the nooses if you can. I got some white women want to get down, so y'all just avoid it if you can.
Yeah, that ain't cool. I mean, and to piggyback on what the other brother was saying, country came from Delta blues. It's just it's a trip how a lot of these white supremacists will take our music and try to use it against us. Like that band Screwdriver trying to using rock and roll or I forgot. There's a bunch of racist
remember in my documentary Race War, I spoke to Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer said there that he didn't have a problem with cultural appropriation. As far as he was concerned, that's just as far as he is concerned, that's just another part of the European prerogative of conquest.
Wow. Yeah, that's so evil. And then they want to always complain about us. And it's funny, that guy didn't say anything about the insurrectionists. He's going to speak all that stuff.
Those are the good rioters. Those are the good rioters.
Yeah.
Just understand, those are the good rioters there. The rest of you are bad rioters, but the ones on his side of the fence, those are good rioters. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now, let me get caller number code 909. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good evening, brother. This is James Peoples. I'm calling from Peoria, Illinois, old school place from Richard Pryor. How you doing, sir? Black first.
All right, Black first, brother. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to encourage a lot of people out here. Look, I finally got my first house, and it's in a sundown town, somewhere in Illinois. I'm not going to tell you, but the real estate out here is cheap. And I see a lot of people, they really don't like the fact that I got the biggest house on the block. But you know what? What you going to do? They got to cut the check. And they bring all these immigrant people in here, and they sit there and they try to dictate against us. How many times I've lost jobs because of these Mexican people that they love, calling me mayate. I left California because of these racist-ass Mexicans. Sir, by the way, sir, I have family from Shreveport. My Aunt Katie lived on Henry Street.
Okay.
I got family in Louisiana. And sometimes, sir, forgive me, sir, for being brass, sir, but you got some of the biggest coons from Louisiana. Some of the biggest goddamn fucking coons. I got jumped. My auntie got jumped by for the KKK in Shady Grove. Nobody did anything to help her. Sorry, sir, to be upset. But I finally got my house out here, sir, and everything's just going great. I'm just encouraging more brothers out here to stop being coons. Come out here and gentrify this shit up.
Okay.
I got this house for cheap, and it's already up like $30,000, sir.
Well, thank you for the advice. We'll keep that in mind. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. What? All right, caller from area code 512. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Mr. Black. This is Eric, man, in Austin, Texas.
All right, Eric in Austin. And are you at a truck stop, or are you getting ready to go to Gargaritas or whatever in the world that restaurant is?
No, that's my phone. Can you hear me okay or so?
Yeah, we can hear you. I just wanted to know if you're in Texas down there with what's his name? We just had the Zoom with. So I didn't know if you was one of his running buddies or not.
I always listen. I don't get a chance to call in that much though, but yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm a sales rep during the day, and I do a lot of traveling, in Texas, Louisiana. So when I'm on the road a lot, I listen to a lot of right wing radio stations, and I just listen just to kind of get just to get game on like how they think on certain things. But they were talking about all week. They were talking about this video. And they are protecting the hell out of this Jason Aldean guy. Now, one thing I don't like about it is they conflate the word woke with everything. They call companies woke companies that support this, that. They talk about woke agendas for LGBT, our black issues. They call them woke. And I don't really like how they just say woke this, woke that. That's their word, woke.
Well, yeah, it's code, though. It's code. So just remember, woke is code for Negroes. That is all that it means. You can't really find them identifying it outside of that. Remember, they literally asked that white woman, what does woke mean? And she couldn't say what it was. Or should we say she wouldn't say what it was, because other than saying it's uncomfortably introducing too much blackness into something, other than that, woke has no meaning. Now, of course, we realized that what they did was, like I say, we were the ones who created that, say, hey, stay woke. And just like they did when we was Kangs and stuff like that, that's that. Remember, white supremacy starts as a joke. So it starts as mocking you. Then it makes a turn and becomes serious. Well, I said, first they murmur against you in your homes, them all that woke stuff. Then they talk against you in the streets. They talk against you in the streets. That's social media. Then the politicians get involved. Ron DeSantis, your media, Fox News. Next thing you know, things start getting serious. Now first they're talking to your home, then talking to the street, then the media gets involved. So that's Fox News, your music, your radio stations. Next thing you know, they're using the word woke, but before it was used as mocking of you. Now it's no longer mocking. You're the one who created the word woke. They're using it now as a code amongst themselves. They don't really use it with you. They use it as a code amongst themselves. But everyone knows where it came from. And so they all have a common reference of who they're referring to. It gives them the ability to say black without having to use the word black. Now, that's the insidious nature of white supremacy. That's the insidious nature of code speak. It gives them the ability to refer to you without actually saying your name. Remember, Lee Atwater talked about that in those famous recordings from Lee Atwater, when he said that it used to be that you could say nigger. It used to be you could say that, but that has gone out of fashion. You can't say that anymore. So what we had to do is we had to become more abstract. Then we started saying affirmative action and set-asides. But you've had to become more abstract than that. So now it's become abstract to the point of tax policy and environmentalism. But these are all words that we use that folks understand who you're referring to. And the point is to be able to, as Richard Nixon's hatchet man once said, the problem really is the blacks. And the goal is to devise a solution that understands this while seemingly not doing so. So it's something that's targeting black people while seemingly not targeting them. So you gotta have plausible deniability. Woke is another attempt at plausible deniability. Of course, once the spotlight goes on them, remember I told you this over a decade ago, white supremacy is an evolutionary organism. So once you stamped out we was kangs, once you stamped out those other things, once we finish stamping out woke, they're just gonna shift to something else. They're not going to stop here. They'll just pick up something else and shift over there. So just remember, as long as that organism exists, it will continue to evolve.
Well, based on that word insidious you just said, one of the Larry Elder, he has a talk show. He's on there, and then there's another black guy on there. So they reference those two all the time, talking about, I just love Larry Elder, and so when they use the word woke, they can't say they're racist or against black folks because, hey, we love Larry Elder. We love this other black guy. And I'm just like, well, these people are just devils, man. I'm telling you, man.
Well, brother, I can't make this any more plain to you all. They are in a race war. They are in a race war against us, period. And everything that they do and everything they move on, everything is mobilized and mechanized to declare and prosecute that war against us. That's what it is. They are in a race war. So it doesn't matter what they're talking about, what they're discussing. They are always going to bring the focus back to us. The Russians invade. Yeah, we need to do something about the Russians. Now, about them Negroes. Fukushima blows up. Oh, man, Fukushima just blew up. About them Negroes. Economy starts slowing down. Oh, man, there's a recession coming. Now, back about them Negroes. Everything comes back to us because we are the barometer. I've told you this for decades. We are the barometer with which white supremacy measures its health. If black people are catching hell, if black people are securely oppressed, white supremacy is healthy. They don't care about illegal aliens. They don't care about Asian invasion. They don't care about the Arabs. They don't care about any of that because they don't measure their value against those people. They measure them strictly against us. Everybody else is only marginally important. if they could end illegal aliens coming over here tomorrow, but it doesn't penalize black people, they're like, oh, we don't need that. They want a policy that ultimately, they're like, there's no use in us executing any policy that doesn't penalize those people. As far as they're concerned, you're nibbling around the edges. If you don't actually take the black issue by the throat and deal with it, then you're just nibbling around the edges. Caller America code 314, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is T-Rex out of Spanish Lake, Missouri.
All right, T-Rex out of Spanish Lake, Missouri. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to say, and try to follow me on this one. That one white guy that was in the hotel in Vegas at the doing the naughty, doing all the naughty activity down towards the Aldine concert.
We don't have to use code words here. The fellow who sat there and massacred dozens of people in a mass shooting.
Right. He was on to something.
Now wait a minute. Let me be clear about that, because I've heard somebody else say this. I don't remember who it was. They said was in concert. Was that a Jason Aldean concert, or was Jason just one of the persons?
Yes, it was. Absolutely.
Or was
it was
Jason
an Aldean concert?
Or was he just one of the performers who was there?
I think it was his headliner, and I think that obviously he didn't state anything about that in his little video, and I want to see him go to inner city and say the stuff that he's saying in his video and see how far down the street he makes it.
Okay. Well, like I say, I wasn't aware of that. I remember the concert. I remember whoever's concert.
I think that was his headliner concert.
Well, I remember whoever's concert
I believe that was his headliner concert.
It wasn't somebody that was a name person to me, so it wasn't somebody who I really recognized. I remember at the time I don't even remember who it was. I do remember a T-shirt and cowboy hat.
He was on stage when it went down. Let's just put it like that. He was on stage when it went down.
It could have been him. I'll go back and I'll have to check on that just to be sure about that, because I didn't know.
I don't know if he's the headliner, if it was his concert, but he was the one on stage when it all went down. And that guy was on to something.
Well,
and too bad he was just that
definitely, like I say, that's what I'm saying.
SHOT.
If he's got a problem with crime and anarchy in the streets, I'm like, dude, there was crime and anarchy in the streets buzzing over your damn head one night. You ain't got nothing to say about that? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing to say. This didn't register to you at all. But this tells
you. The sad thing about it is you got guys like Trump, you got guys like Aldine who prop up the people down here on the grassroots level. They're going to get them in trouble while they go off to their gated communities and their security details and all this other stuff. You see how that works? They get them all pumped up on our level.
Yeah, that's what they do. This is to galvanize the foot soldiers.
Gaslight.
This is to galvanize the foot soldiers and mobilize them and keep them riled up and stuff. And the guys who do it and stuff, they'll just sit back and hide their hands. So thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Like I say, I didn't know if that was a Jason Aldean concert. I had seen some of you saying that earlier in the chat. I don't want to say things I don't know about. So if that was his concert, because you saw I mentioned the mass shooting before, but I'm like, if that was his concert, I'm like, hey, dude, you might want to address something a little bit closer to home, don't you think? You might want to address something a little bit closer to home, huh? While you worrying about us over here, meanwhile at your they don't talk about every rap concert ever. You have more people killed at your one concert than we've had at every rap concert combined since the beginning of hip hop history. More people died at your country music concert in one evening than in all the totality of rap music since it began. You got bigger issues you need to be worrying about. Call from America 210. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is Tony from San Antonio.
All right, Tony from San Antonio. What's on your mind?
Well, the subject matter and everything is, and one of the other callers has triggered me to the point that I was able to actually call in. A few things first. I am someone who has liked country music and has a good number of country artists and things like that in my music library. But that as far as the Jason Aldean thing, one of the reasons that triggered me one thing is because, yes, from what the people in the comments have been saying, yes, he was at that concert where that mass shooter in Las Vegas was. And
okay,
why that bothers me so much is I had a friend who actually was a sound crew who almost lost his life there.
Well, brief
So
aside,
yeah.
I do want to say I just
Sorry,
stopped and Googled it here, and yes, that was a Jason Aldean concert. So I just stopped to Google it. I did stop to look it up, and it's just a whole bunch of articles come up. 2017 mass shooting. Jason Aldean has got his name on practically everyone of these. Forbes said Jason Aldean sees backlash for music video about guns and police protesters. Jason Aldean, the country music star whose 2017 Las Vegas concert was the site of one of the deadliest mass shootings in American history. And meanwhile, this is what he's focused on. So, yeah, remember, white supremacy is a dishonest organism. White supremacy is not about truth. White supremacy is about power. White supremacy is about lying. White supremacy is about deceit. We're white and we say so. Wasn't no 2017 concert. Wasn't no mass shooting. Nothing wrong with country music. So, yeah, well, how do you figure that? We got all these videos and all these survivors. We're white and we say so.
Yeah. Oh man. That pissed me off just hearing about that and about the song. I haven't even listened to it, but just hearing about enough of the buzz was just enough to trigger me about it. And of course, knowing that you would have been covering it and giving the full analysis of what it needs. Again, knowing that I actually had a friend whose husband who worked as a crew member that almost lost his life, and was there at that incident was already enough to trigger me. The other thing that's been on that also triggered me was the other caller. I think he was from Edinburgh, the man who's I guess trying to pick up some women at the club. I have lived in San Antonio since I was about 10 years old, and first, I have to just say this. As a black man who is now 32 years old, that black, brown, black Mexican thing and stuff like that, it's BS.
Well, look, I mean, as far as he's concerned, he's willing to risk his life for it. That's the problem that we have.
I'm sorry, sir.
I want you all to understand, guys like him, he's willing to risk his life for it. Is for interracial sexual access. He literally is coming. He's ignoring literally everything else. And what I'm saying is we've seen enough folk who sat up here and ignored that and let themselves get cornered off somewhere because the folks they worshiping and playing with ain't playing the same game with them. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller Mary code 832. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on, Jason? This is Jay out of Houston, Texas.
Jay out of Houston. What's on your mind?
Man, I'm glad you actually brought up this topic because I actually didn't hear that much about this topic, and then when I really did hear about it was like 2 days ago. And when I started looking at the videos regarding this topic, and I don't know if you covered this because I got here kind of late, but there was a lot of black folks actually co-signing this, a bunch of coons co-signing this video, which Jason put out, Jason Aldean, whatever his name is, he put out. And I'm like, if you look at the imagery in the video, if you look at the lyrics used in the video, you can see most of the imagery he was talking about was white folks. So it was kind of a dog whistle for his audience. Pretty much,
correct.
White folks are pretty much the good side of this country, while other people are just pretty much the bad side.
Right.
Of the country.
He wasn't
also,
stupid. Now, he wasn't stupid. The folk who edited this video, they were not stupid. They were smart enough not to put any readily visible black faces in there. They were smart enough not to do that. That's how code works. So they made sure that they knew that this was going to cause a problem. They knew this was going to cause a backlash. So they tried to protect themselves as best they could. So the stuff you can really readily identify is like, oh, this isn't racial. Wow, the folk we're talking about, these are white people here. See, this isn't racial. With us noticing, by the way, we couldn't help but notice that's the visuals. Your words and your visuals are not holding. They're not holding consistent with each other. They're not in sync with each other. You must be you must be trying to do something else. And remember, this song is going to get more play on radio than anywhere else. So it's going to be more of an audio format. And that's what you got to remember, is that this is really going to be disseminated as an audio format, not a video format. So the context they're trying to use to camouflage it in the videos is not the context it's going to come through with on audio.
Right. Hey, can I ask this one question, man?
Sure.
What is your message? I mean, your legitimate message to those black people who are co-signing this, making their little, and I mean little, even though they get like 400,000 views off this crappy video, trying to co-sign this video. What would be your message to them?
Thank you for carrying your banner openly, so we know where you stand. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. That's where I'm at with it. Thank you for carrying your banner openly. I'm never upset with somebody keeping it in the open. I think I got somebody on Zoom here. Tony? Okay, well, Tony, if you want to join us on Zoom, I don't know. I wasn't really trying to make Zoom open here. I might need to take that down. I wasn't really trying to make Zoom open necessarily, but Tony, if you want to join us on Zoom, sure, you can go ahead and do that. Just turn your audio and your video on, and we'll go ahead and take care of that for you here. So, Tony, you got 5 seconds here. Tony is in the dark. Okay, Tony is not in the dark. All right, Tony, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Jason? And I don't know if it was mentioned or not, but you know that image of that courthouse, that was where a 27-year-old black male who was accused of attacking a white girl was lynched at. And I thought it was just very interesting that he used that as the background of his music video.
Oh, he's not ignorant. Like I said, I mentioned that at the beginning of the program, but absolutely, the visuals and the imagery, the way it was chosen, he is not ignorant of that at all. Not at all. So all of this was calibrated. And remember, we're talking about code. So even with the imagery and stuff, it's code on top of code. The folks who live there and know that building, they know what that is. They know what it is. They know where it is. So the point's gotten through non-verbally. Remember, he can stand by that. He can tell you the whole time, oh, I think that's terrible. I think that'd be awful. He can say those words without having to own up to it, knowing full well what you're doing. So you're dealing with an insidious monster.
Yeah, and you know he's gonna come out saying that he didn't know. You know how these white supremacists do? They play the game saying, you know, I didn't know that's what that was. You know, they play ignorant about the images that they portray when they're doing these dog whistles and everything.
Now, they can tell you the history of everywhere else. He can tell you the history of any other building. He would know chapter and verse of that. If it's a police station that, quote, Black Lives Matter was in front of, why, he could give you chapter and verse on that one. But he doesn't know about the building he filmed his video in front of, and he's the artist, which means ostensibly he has to approve that. He doesn't know where he is. Of course he knows where he is.
Exactly.
And that's the point they're making, is that they are in a race war. That is the point they're making. We are in a race war against y'all. We don't care if you're threatening us. We don't care if you're not. We are in a race war with you. Period. We just sitting here at home minding our damn business, and here comes Jason Aldean. Think about that for a few moments. At best, I mean, if you're going to record a professionally done song and everything with musicians and things, typically speaking, it's going to take about a month from recording before we hit radio. That's if you want to rush something out. Now, if you're really good, you can probably get it out in a couple of weeks. What I'm saying is, at best, we've been all sitting at home minding our business, and he's been sitting at home writing lyrics and putting together songs and composers and producers to talk about us. A bunch of folk who did not know he existed even after one of the biggest mass shootings in American history. We didn't know who he was, but he's been thinking about us. He's not thinking about how to stop the next mass shooting. Now, he was a part of one of the biggest mass shootings ever. He ain't set up here and picked up his guitar and twanged one time for that. That's not an issue, but some black folk he's never met in situations he's never encountered, we're the topic of discussion. Brother, that is a race war.
100%. Hey, you know what, Brother Jason, stay on their necks, and everybody out there, stay vigilant, and keep your power tools ready.
All day. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Yeah, you figure he could have put together a song for that, don't you? Hey, Jason, two or three little lyrics? Let's go ahead and get caller from area code 210. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Brother Jason, can you hear me?
Yes. What is your name? Where you calling
Hello?
from?
Oh, what's going on, my family? This is your boy DBCU, man. I go by the handle DBCU. I'm from Houston, Texas. I know I got a San Antonio number, but I wanted to comment. I've talked to you before. I was living in South Louisiana in Lafayette, but I wanted to, I'm from Houston, but I wanted to comment on the brother talking about old South Texas ain't racist. You a goddamn lie. This is the shit. Kemah, Galveston, you got a G-Town, all that, man. That is racist as hell. He's full of shit. I'm sorry. Excuse my language, man. That is a damn lie. I stay on the border of Harrison, Brazoria County. That is a damn lie. These laws will tear your ass up down here. They hate to see black folks down there. Even, everybody talk about Freaknik and stuff, right? Anybody from H-Town in the chat, talk about the Capitol Beach party. They used to shut the whole boardwalk down. The only thing open was the CBS and the Jack in the Box because they didn't want black folks down there. But then I went to a white beach party down there. They got everything open. But the laws would tear your behind up if you're black, especially if you drove a nice car or anything. They didn't want no niggas down there. He lied. And it's still like that to this day.
No, to say something, and I've lived in Texas, to say something as insane as there's a part of Texas that is not racist. All I'm saying is I don't have to say anything else about you after that. All I got to do is replay your audio. Hey, this is what he thinks of South Texas.
Right.
Man, everything fine down here. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Yeah, he ain't saying you nigga, you crazy. What are you talking about?
No, brother, but remember,
are you serious?
Remember though, he was honest. I mean, I guess as honest as he can be about that. His mind is on them women. As far as he's concerned, he has, wherever he came from originally, remember, because he said he did time. So he's just like, hey, look here. Okay. I'm getting me some drink.
I got some interracial panties now.
Yeah, I'm getting some interracial sexual access, even if it is size 16s. Look, I'm straight, man. What race war? What you talking about? Ain't no race war out here. Everybody cool down here. While the police pulled me over, ain't nobody tried to shoot me. Okay. All right.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I pray for the brother. I have, man. I love black folks. You know that, man. I'm from a Hebrew Israelite background. I love my black. I love my family. But God dang it, man, you can't be that goofy, man. Don't be goofy. And then these Mexican guys leading you to a club, and you don't know the hell you're going. Stop, man. Please. Even if she, I'm taking at least my cousins or somebody with me. And it's like, well, where we going? You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to dry ass just ride out.
Yeah, you know this. Like I said, he said he drives a Ford F-250, so he thinks he's got the white boy camouflage pack. Is what he thinks he's got. Yeah. He's like, they won't recognize I'm black. I drive a F-250. And I'm like, dude, they will still very much recognize that you're black. But that's why I asked him the questions that I did. I asked him, hey, how many of them going with you? Where is this? The questions your parents used to ask you when you were 13, 14 years old. You don't just call me up and tell me you going somewhere. Wait a minute. Where the hell you going? Who you going with? Where'd you meet these people? What's the name of this place? He gave answers that my parents wouldn't have accepted when we were 13 and this nigga 50.
Yeah, man, dude, you destroyed him. Come on, bro. I'm going to land my plane soon. God dang it. But I was listening to this and I had to call in. I was like, oh, shit. I got to call in on this one. Because now you're starting with the questions. And you 50 years old. You overlooked that grandchildren, man. You come on, man. You ain't that game goofy.
He didn't pass the high school.
Like somebody put in the comments, your organs might be sold tomorrow, nigga.
Brother, he did not pass the high school freshman after school test. He didn't pass that one. Full damn well you couldn't tell your parents you were staying after school and they don't know I'm going to somebody's house. Yeah, no. I don't know. They mama or whoever, they uncle gonna drive us over there. Uncle me ass. You get your ass on that bus.
Right.
I ain't met these people's parents. I don't know these folk. Hell no, you ain't going nowhere. Right. He's 50 years old. All he knows, the only thing he knew for certain was it was some Mexican women gonna be there. Or at least, by the way, here's the crazy part. Or at least he thinks it is. That's the problem. He thinks it's going to be some Mexican women because you and I both old enough to know. It's like they sitting up here texting him, oh, come see us, Poppy. Come through here. 11 o'clock, he coming through. He ready. And next thing you know, it's damn me, El Chapo. And the boys over there in the corner is like, yeah, that F-250, you about to drop it off.
Right. Man, dude, man, damn it, I wish I could talk to you all night. No, I'm sorry, bro. I'm not going to try to play this. I got stabbed before by a Mexican dude going to a Mexican club with some gas. I learned early. That happened when I was 24.
Oh,
now, by the way. You know
David Ayer.
I know better. I know better now. And I tell my nephew, you know what I'm saying? I coach game to my nephews, man. Now, you don't trust them. You know how them Spanish men, they get, you know how jealous they are for number one.
No, you know, what's his name? David Ayer, who wrote Training Day. David Ayer, the white fellow who wrote Training Day. You know, his two front teeth got knocked out. Because he was at a party with some Mexicans and whatnot. His two front teeth are false. He said they got knocked out. He was at a party talking to these Mexican chicks, and the dudes didn't like it, and one of them busted him in the mouth with a bottle. But for those of you who live in California, those of you who live in Arizona, and those of you who live in Texas, particularly South Texas, it's not that attitude is not quite as prevalent. In the Dallas area, though, it depends on where you are. But if you're outside the Dallas Metroplex, for the most part, that's very prevalent. They are very protective. If the chicks is off code, you might catch a bottle and she might catch one too. She might catch one too, simply for being off
that's
code.
That's how cowardly them little jokers are, because they'll jump on the girl too. Exactly. You said the right word, because me and her, I got to give her credit. We was fighting back to back, damn near. She fighting like a dude. I hate to say that. I'm sorry, man. But the point being, they're like that. They're little jealous ass dudes in South Texas. Hell no, they're hey my amigo, hey friend. Bullshit. They don't go somewhere with one of their women and you'll find out all about them.
It'll flip in a minute.
Man, they shit.
It'll flip in a heartbeat. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. No, I mean they are very territorial about that. I've been all over the country. They're very territorial. A bunch of y'all been. I can't even just say. I'm not even gonna say necessarily it's a Mexican thing. We're just talking about South Texas, so that's going to be Mexican down there. But you see it in New York when you're dealing with the Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. These fellas sitting up here ready to risk their damn lives. Ready to risk their damn lives. I don't give a damn if she's a Mexican 10. This fella don't know where he going. On a Saturday night. Middle of the damn night. I'm going out on Saturday. Oh, don't worry, man. They all cool down here. I wanted to say to him, nigga, famous last words. Are you a grown man talking to me like this? I ain't got no... And they'll be in the damn truck with him playing Jason Aldean, looking at his ass like the family from Get Out. With him not picking up the damn vibe until they get him in the woods somewhere. You're going to be like, oh, hey, where's this club at? I ain't never been here. We turned up a back street. They driving up in the damn woods in the middle of the night and turned off the headlights. He don't know where the hell he at. He got his mind and his eyes on them chicks. Next thing you know, they done drove him off somewhere. Oh, this is a dirt road right here. Hey, baby, where we at? Oh, don't worry, Poppy. Don't worry, Poppy. Gonna have his big ass on a barbecue somewhere. Nigga, you need to worry less about showing off your taco meat and start showing some discernment. Where are we going? I'm not sure. Who gonna be there? Her and some friends. Some friends? Where's the place at? I'm not going to. What's the name? I kind of forget. Okay, y'all think folks make the news by accident? Call America Code 253. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Coach from Tacoma, Washington. How you doing, brother?
Okay, Coach from Tacoma, Washington here. Turn off your speakers. What's on your mind?
Oh, I thought I had them off. My bad, buddy. My bad. Give me a second. I thought I did. I was sitting out there in my garage, man, because you was throwing so much fire out there. I was like, man, I got to call in. How does it sound there, buddy?
All right, what's on your mind?
Okay, man, look, I just wanted to say, look, you know damn well that song right there that he put out, that was a national anthem for his son downtown. That's all it was. I'm from Alabama. Man, let me tell you something. Man, when I watch the video, and then I watched, what's the young lady, Sonny Hostin or whatever, that they was talking about it on The View and stuff like that. Man, they was talking about how all the lynchings and stuff happened in front of that building. And, you know, me kind of being a military brat, I grew up down in Columbus, Georgia. You know what I mean? So, you know, when we used to go to Atlanta to see the Braves and the Falcons and stuff, man, they wouldn't even let us. Man, young black kids from a church were going up to the games. They was like, nigga, go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's the year 20, brother, it's the year 2023, and we still hearing silliness going on from Negroes. It's the year 20, the white supremacists are sitting up here making songs, literally making a song talking about try that in a small town, showing imagery of us, and with this fellow, I don't see what the problem is right here. I'm just kidding with Mexican women tonight, bye. This where we at.
Man, look. No, bro, Jason, you know he was cooning. You know he was cooning. Let's just put it out there like that. He was cooning. Because, hey, look, we done been down to hell. I went to boot camp down in El Paso. Yeah, look, let's be honest with the shit. Man, he down there tricking with them girls. He down there spending money on them. What you think they going to do? Of course they going to mess with you. You putting money on them.
Man, he gonna show up and get back here. He gonna be messed up. He gonna be crying and boo-hooing on the damn news. I don't know. I need my people, and it's gonna come through for me.
Yes, sir. And this is my thing. Okay, let's really break it down. Okay, being in social media, you heard about. I think it's the young brother from. I think it was Mississippi. Is it Rasheem Carter? That they found, his body, chopped up and put in different parts of, I guess, Mississippi and all that stuff like that. I mean, we have to look at this stuff. Things like this are still happening in America. You know what I mean?
He gonna show up somewhere, brother, and he gonna be like, there's no place for racism in America in the 21st century.
Hey, brother Jason, I'm gonna mess with you. Let's break it real down, cause I see you like to get down like I get down. Let's think about this. Let's take all these so-called blacks that's sitting out there cooning, Candace Owens, what's the little half-breed cats that be on the Hodge Twins. Take your ass to a sundown town and play that bullshit and see if you make it out of there. I promise you, they won't make it out of there.
They'll pat him on. They'll pat him on the back. They'll give him a town parade. They'll do all that right up until the white girls start kicking it with him. Then the town gonna turn on them. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Right up until you get about there, and it's like, okay, now you done got a little bit too familiar. That's when it ain't gonna be nothing but fellas around you with flags. Yeah, you came for the females. Now it's just a bunch of fellas and flags. Call from area code 346. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Black Sheep. I'm calling from Houston, Texas, by way of Cleveland, Ohio.
All right, Black Sheep from Houston. What's on your mind?
I'm calling. I've been listening to you for roughly about 5 years, and I just wanted to piggyback off. I'm a truck driver, and what that coon said a short while ago, that is not true. I drive truck, and I go to certain areas, and very quickly when you're in a predominantly Hispanic area. Some places I go, you almost have to have an interpreter with you because everyone speaks Spanish. I meet guys like him quite often out here on the road, and it's just a whole lot of off-code behavior. And it's just like, I understand. I don't knock wanting to have an interracial sexual relationship, but let's just try to stay on code, and they just get blinded. But I just want to say as well.
No, look, I mean, there's no way. You can't go down to those areas, McAllen, Rio Grande. You can't go down to them areas there. You'll find some white folk. By white folk, I mean Anglos. You'll find Anglos down there, but black folk ain't pulling no weight and running nothing down there and whatnot. So for somebody to say something so silly like that, it's like, dude, there's a reason why there's only 3 of y'all down there. So he gonna be all rah-rah and whatnot.
Truck drivers most of the time.
Yeah, and so and that's what I'm saying. He's not empowering anything. He's just like, hey, look, I'm just trying to coast and cruise. It's the weekend. Let me see if I can get in before I gotta get back out here on the road. And what I'm saying is there are so many. I can't even really say fellas because the females are bedwinching their asses off, but I'm going to leave it to the fellas here tonight. This dude's done travel the damn country and take a look at what he's coming back with. So he'll acknowledge that racism exists. Well, don't worry, I done found the cheat code. I know where the good spots are at. And I'm like, are you serious? You the only nigga in the room trying to reassure all of us that you found the safe zone. He done found the safe space. I'm like, man, you going by your damn self. first of all, I suggest you give me an address so we can have a last scene. At least give us some last scene at information. Can we do that? Because right now, tonight, he freestyling. And I'm just like, I don't wish nothing bad on him and everything. I'm just saying, dude, you need to wish something good on yourself. Because I'm like, this damn hostage video makes itself. I'm down, my name is Trey. I'm down here in McAllen, and I don't know how I ended up here. And they left me in the woods. And he was found half alive. And some racism have no, they was calling me my and nigga. And he has a message for the people who kidnapped him. The love of Jesus, and we appreciate you. And then I know. Racism had no place in the 21st century. I'm like, man, nigga, call Ben Crump. Call Ben Crump. I'll let you have the last word.
Yes, just to add to that, I'm a lover of Western wear. Nothing wrong with that. Me personally, I choose to listen to Black Zydeco music. The Western wear thing, that's just an excuse to be a coon. Like I said, B1, thank you so much for everything.
Well, baby, trust me, when they finish wearing his ass out, he gonna be the most black radical music listening nigga you ever met in your life. Trust, he ain't never gonna turn on nothing again. Sound like a 12-string, sound like a steel string guitar. They're gonna be his last time ever doing that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Oh, trust me, he gonna have a playlist when they get done with him. Public Enemy, Boogie Down, Gil Scott-Heron, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Marvin Gaye. Oh, he gonna have a playlist when they get done. NWA, LWA, HWA. He gonna have everything on there. Do you hear me? Sister Soldier, Brother Soldier, Mother Soldier. He gonna have them all on there. Everybody. If Malcolm X had a mixtape, he gonna find that. I'd be like, wait a minute, I didn't know Malcolm had a mixtape. Yeah, after that incident down there in McAllen. Really? Oh, hell, they done caught me on Zoom again. All right, let me go ahead and I'll take one last Zoom call and we're going to go ahead and see if we can wrap things up here tonight. We've been on here for a minute, but I'll take one last Zoom call on here. Let me see who I got. KD, go ahead and get your microphone and your camera on. Go ahead and get your microphone and your camera on. I'll give you a couple of minutes here to go ahead and get that done, but he's working on his Zimbabwe broadband. All right, KD, what's on your mind? Point your camera down some more, KD. I can't see you. All right, KD is looking super coonish. KD, turn your mic on, bruh. Where you just finished doing time at? Brother, check your microphone. Your mic is not on, dude. Okay, y'all, this is somebody's drunk uncle on here tonight. KD, take a look and see. We can't hear you. We see you, but we can't hear you. Y'all got to choose which microphone input you're using on there. They got all kinds of stuff plugged up. They got these prison track phones. Why does this brother look like Kamala without his face paint on? Does anybody know why he looks like Kamala the Ugandan giant without his face paint on? I don't understand. Okay. He'll have to see if he can give us a call back here next week. I don't understand. Hopefully things get a little bit better though. But yeah, I want you all to recognize and see what we're talking about here. In the 21st century, it's all the way real. In the 21st century, it is all the way real. And by the way, I'm glad for it. I want them out in the open. I want them out in the open. I want them to be who they really are. I want them to take off the facades. I want them to say it exactly the way it is. It doesn't bother me at all. Not at all. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo, both live or recorded. Andrew L. and everyone else out there, thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future and the future is uncompromising.